Welcome to the
Dice Tower.
The Dice Tower People's Choice Top 100 Games of All Time. The Dice Tower People's Choice Top 100 Games of All Time.
All right, entering the top half of all the board games.
Here we go.
I'm Tom Vassell,
And I'm Z Garcia. How you guys doing?
and we're here to talk about your choices. Are they good choices?
Of course they're good choices. They're your choices.
Oh, you say that at the beginning. Wait till we get to do that.
And I'll rip them apart.
All right, well, let's get started. The People's Choice Top 100, starting with number 50.
number 50 Flash Point Fire Rescue.
All right, this one is new on the list because it had just come out at the end of last year.
That's right.
If you remember, it made a pretty big splash in our group for a while. There was a lot of people playing this and yelling about it because some people were burning houses down.
Really? I never heard that complaint.
No. Some people complained it was too random. They said no matter what we did, the fire just spread out of control.
Sure.
And other people said that they loved it because they loved the thematic nature of it. And I'm sure that's why it's on here. This is the second highest Kickstarter, I think, that made the list.
It's one of the few really breakthrough Kickstarter projects for sure. And co-op, which we were talking about, is hot on this list.
Well, I think co-op is hot in general. You know, for all the people who poo-poo co-op, I think it's something that people like. But this one in particular, now this one gets compared a lot, for some reason, to Pandemic. I don't know why. Maybe because they're in the same box. Maybe because you're working together to stop something bad. Pandemic, you're stopping an epidemic. This one, you're stopping a fire.
Mm-hmm. That's true. I compared myself, but now that I think about it, I'm not quite sure why. You're right.
Well,
It just feels similar.
the boxes are the same size.
No, it just gives you that same vibe. You know, it feels similar.
Right,
to me.
each person has a very specific role that they're playing, and they're trying to move around the board. Well, anyway, I like this game a lot. It was in my top 100, I think, wasn't it? Number 75 for me. Number 75.
And
So
I've played it. I've played it only once. and
Really?
I was not impressed by it, which is why I have not played again.
see, he's already getting on your case.
You people are messing up. I really like co-ops, which I think I've said, and I was surprised that I was not taken by the game. The theme is excellent. The randomness did get to me a little bit. I did not like that it was.
I guess I liked it because it felt like the fire could burst anywhere at any time. So be prepared.
That's true, but it just seems strange. I also hated the whole trucks going around the outside of the mansion thing. Made very little sense to me why the ambulance had to drive what felt like blocks and blocks around this one house. I mean, which house is this? It's massive, you know? So I didn't like those kind of breaks from theme. But Pandemic has some of the same ideas, but the fact that you shuffle the cards and put them back on top gives you a feeling of controlling that randomness.
All right. Well, the point is, you guys liked it. So, and I can see why. This is
Yeah.
a very popular game. So, number 50, Flashpoint Fire Rescue.
Number 49 Forbidden Island.
Speaking of Pandemic, this game probably gets compared to Pandemic even more than Flashpoint.
True.
Because A, it's designed by the same designer,
Yes.
and B, it really feels similar. I mean,
Yeah.
really feels similar.
This is Pandemic Light, and there's no fooling anybody about that. Absolutely.
Yeah. Although the Sinking Island now has been done by Atlantis Rising. So,
That's true.
you know what though? This game is a game that I wouldn't expect to be on the list. Because it's light, it's very light. I mean, honestly, the fact is the game is not nearly as good as most cooperative games, I think.
Right.
Because there's not a lot of depth to it. But yet, it's hugely popular.
Oh, but-
you can find it anywhere.
Wasn't Castle Panic on the list already? If I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, but that one, that's the Wheaton effect.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we're onto that again.
Okay.
I can
It's because
see.
it's sold in a tin. That's
That's
what.
it. Coming up, little doubles.
No, but seriously, not the tin as much. The inside, the components of this game are just
That's true. This game is
Amazing.
stunning looking. That's true. And if I was going to pick any one co-op game to show somebody who's never played a co-op game, I'm still going to probably pick this game.
I think so. I mean, I might do Pandemic, I might do Flashpoint, but this one is so easy to get into, so simple, and it's so co-op.
Right.
It's hard to explain. You're so saying, here, let me help you. I'll give you some cards, and you help me.
I've played this with high school kids mostly, and it's never a miss. Never a miss. It always, the kids get it, they love it, they want to play again as soon as we're done, and it just works. And for an intro co-op, there's nothing quite like it.
Well, there you go.
That's why it's on the list.
Easy enough.
Number 48, Castles of Burgundy.
And now another game that's often compared to Pandemic. What? No, now we're in the realm of Euro games. And this one, the Castles of Burgundy, although mine says Die Bergen van Burgund. I just call it the Burger game.
Yes, you do.
Have you played this?
I have not played it because it looks really, really boring.
Yeah. But it's not so much, the scoring is your typical, if you have 5 sheep here and if you have 3 of this. But I like the game because it allows you to roll dice and allocate those dice at different spots. And that's a mechanic I like. And in this one, it actually works really well to the point where I still have it on my shelf.
Right. Well, I know Stefan Feld, for me, started off hot. I mean, Notre Dame.
Whoa.
It's just dead sexy. Roma, Notre Dame, what's the other one? In the Year of the Dragon. I love those 3 games.
Really?
I really do. And I'm
Wow.
not much of a Euro gamer, but I love those games. They are just captivating.
And I hate all 3 of those.
I really like those. And then he kind of plateaued for me when he kept making the Alea games. They all started feeling samey. This is not one I've tried, so I can't really speak of it. Obviously, it must be good if people voted for
You're
it.
sure
but-
talking a while.
What's that?
You're sure talking a lot about it.
Well, it's Stefan Feld is
All
a
right.
cool cat.
Well, we'll have to get Z to try this one out. But it is one that I enjoy, and I can see. I like the fact that this is on the list because it shows that people have diverse tastes.
That's true.
We're not all hitting cooperatives. Unlike the next one.
Number 47, Elder Sign.
We're back to cooperatives.
It's the 50s. It's somewhere
Yeah,
in the
this
middle here.
is to me was like a slam dunk when I heard about it. Cooperative game with Cthulhu. Come on, you knew it was going to sell, and this game has sold well. Although I wonder if this one has sold more on the iOS than it has in real life.
That's a hot app, yeah.
Yeah, a lot of people like playing on the iOS, and to the point where they just released an expansion for it
Right.
that was not released for the game.
So far,
Well, yeah, maybe it will happen, but that's the first time I heard of it happening. First.
that's true. Yeah.
Of all the co-ops, we often talk about some co-ops are just really, really difficult,
Yeah.
really hard. This is one I don't say that about because I beat this one. I beat this one the first time I played it, and there's very few co-ops I beat the first time I play them.
That's true. This is probably one of the easiest. It's also one of the longest, though, because, and this is something that came out when the game first came out. People thought, oh, a dice game version of Arkham Horror. Dice game people associate with a short game. This is not really that short,
Well, it's about 90 minutes, maybe.
which is not short for a dice game.
Yeah, not sure
you
for a
know.
dice game. It looks a lot shorter, I guess.
But I really like this way better than Arkham Horror myself because I can set it up, I can play a little faster. It's just more streamlined, and I think that's why people like it.
It really is Arkham. Here's the deal, though. The one thing we have to say about this is theme be gone. The theme is not super strong.
No, not like Arkham.
When I roll dice, I'm not like, oh, I have just banished a dark one. It's like, ooh, I got 3 of the squiggly things. Woohoo!
The tentacle, sir.
Yes.
Cthulhu will get you.
Alrighty. Elder Sign.
Number 46, Robo Rally.
Alright, here's Robo Rally.
This isn't Robo Rally.
Yeah, it is. This is the Alea Amigo version,
Oh,
which also has all the pieces from the Wizards of the Coast version inside it.
All right.
And all the boards. Although, you can tell, here's the Wizards of the Coast version.
Hey.
And then here's the... No, wait. I'm sorry. This is the Wizards of the Coast board.
Yeah.
And this is the Amigo board. It's actually a board. This one's a glorified piece of cardboard. Anyhow, Robo Rally is a game of logic until you start playing it.
Yeah, I don't think I would call it a game of logic.
Well, yeah, but it is logic because you say, I'm going to move my robots like this, and then everything falls to pieces.
That's true. It's a programming game, is what I would consider it the most. But of course, you're programming on the same board that other people are programming on, and you're going to run into each other, and everything's going to go wrong.
You know, interestingly enough, this is a game that surprises me that it's on the list. Because when I play this with people, they like it. Well, some people hate it. Some people hate this game. But a lot of people like it, but it's not in print, really.
I don't think so.
And it's not easy to get. I mean, not easy to get. I almost never see it being played anywhere.
That's true.
And yet it's on the list. This one's a surprise to me, actually. I didn't think it would be. Maybe it's because the people who like it really like it.
I think that's part of it. I think it's the Richard Garfield effect.
Yeah, that's true. I believe he has multiple games on this list.
His games, he does not put out a lot of games, and some are, from what I've heard, duds, but his games stick around.
I know, but seriously, if you put out Magic the Gathering, Robo Rally, and
King of Tokyo?
King of Tokyo, you can retire on that. You're done. We're impressed enough at that point. But anyway, Robo Rally.
Number 45. Lost Cities.
What is that?
Another cooperative game.
Yeah.
This is a game that actually may make you dislike your person that you're playing
Make
against.
you cooperate with the couch.
Well, this is what when I first got into gaming, this was the game that people, or when I re-emerged into the Euro gaming.
Sure.
I think this came out in 99, so it's 13 years old.
Yeah.
And this went way up on the list. It was 70 last year. Went up to 45.
Really?
I here, folks. This was not on Will Wheaton's show. I know this was not on his show. So stop using that effect. This went up. I think.
Come up with other effects. The Knizia effect. That's all right.
The Bonnecore effect. That's the new thing. Anyhow, when I first got it, they said this is the game to play with your non-gaming spouse.
Yeah.
And people get all offended. How can you say that? You know, blah, blah, blah. You know what? It's the truth. My wife is not a gamer. She plays games, but she's not a gamer. And she loves this one. Mm-hmm. Yes, it's mathy at the end when you figure out the scoring. Yeah. But during the game, it's so tense back and forth.
I dislike the mathy end as well, but the game has not fallen from that place where someone asks, what's that one game I should play with somebody else who's not really into games? A 2-player game? Lost Cities.
Yeah. It's right there.
It's simple, it's straightforward, it's tense all the way through. It's just an excellent 2-player game.
Now I am curious to see if it will still be reprinted in America as the years go by. But for now, it's not that hard to find.
Number 44. Kalis.
I thought about putting tape over Z's mouth for this one. Kalis. This is most definitely a game that is divisive.
Game.
When this came out, I remember people were trumpeting like, Kalis is the greatest. It was even #1 on Board Game Geek for a short period of time.
It's true. This game was just everywhere.
Everybody was playing it. This was the game. Which, interestingly enough, I almost never see it being played now.
It's a few people play it a lot. They have that convention for it.
Well, I have it. Here's the deal. Even though this game hits every point I don't like about a game, where you're building a castle, but you're not really. Pink cubes are food.
That's pig. Pig comes in squares.
Well, it does. You know, it's in these little cans. But anyhow, and you're building a castle, and you're using these buildings, and it doesn't make sense half the time. Yeah. But I like it still, though, because it is deep and interesting, and all the mechanics fit together well, and there's a chance to be a little nasty in it, too.
I'm over it. I played, and I like the mechanics. I do, just not in a 3-hour game. There's other games that do the same stuff, give you as much chance to strategize and kind of go at a game that do it in half the time, like Pillars of the Earth.
Well, if you do like this game, my friend Ryan Sturm, every year now, runs the Calibration, which still makes me... I just can't say that name with a straight face. Welcome to the calibration.
That's cool.
We're gonna calibrate.
That's all right. Nothing wrong with that.
Let's move on to. Yes, there is. Let's talk about a better game.
Number 43, Mansions of Madness.
The next game is better.
The next game is better
obviously
by one.
by one. Okay, I wasn't criticizing
One
Kalis. I was
better.
saying that this game's one better. And this game is Mansions of Madness, which neither one of us has a copy of.
How's it better then? You don't even have it. You have this, but
Well, this isn't my list. This is the people's list.
so I should have it.
Have you played Mansions of Madness?
I haven't.
But you've seen it played,
I've
where
seen
they
it.
set it up like a
Big old
cathedral.
monsters, yes. It looks awesome. The game just looks stunning sitting there.
It looks awesome. Now we're in a unique position where if I was trying to get Z to play Mansions of Madness, let's say I was trying to get him to play that, we have some folks in our group who have made games of it sound horrific. So
That's true.
so you can see them over at their table screaming and yelling. You're like, let's go to the next game. but for all the flaws that people shouted about Mansions of Madness, it was 63 last year. It's gone up.
Really?
There was a expansion printed where you needed to put 2 tiles in the building, and they were printed on the same tile on both sides.
Oh, okay.
So there was some debate about
And they-
that.
and that
they
was
fixed
fixed?
that,
Okay.
and the new, they're still releasing stuff for it. They just released a whole bunch of miniatures that you can use with the game too.
See, I thought for some reason, and this obviously I was wrong, I thought this game had gotten a lukewarm reaction.
I thought so too, but I think it's one of those games that it's like a cult game. The people who get into it really get into it.
Right.
They're mansioning and madnessing out. That's a really bad verb. But I think it's the same people who like Arkham Horror.
Okay.
And so I think that Arkham Horror seems to have stopped doing expansions, which is pretty impressive since it was giving birth to an expansion every year.
It's time to stop, I think.
I think Mansions of Madness has picked up the mantle and running.
Okay.
And that Cthulhu thing just sells. Look at Elder Sign, it was on the list too.
Yeah.
So there you have it.
Number 42, Innovation.
Now, this is the most divisive game I've ever played.
People, why? Why are you making me be mean to games?
Does he like anything? No, but Innovation, seriously, I played it with people, and the very first time I played it, I think you were in that game.
I think so, yeah.
And half the people who played it said, one of the worst games ever. And me and another guy
Not just
said,
me.
and another guy said, this game rocks. And so I found it over time. We have a friend named Don who I think is like in love with the game.
Yeah,
sleeps
he does.
sleeps with it at night.
He does love it.
And really, in our gaming group, if I want to play this, there are many people I could call up and say, hey, I'm going to have Innovation Night, and they would show up.
Yes.
Because they like it. Other people say, I'm having Innovation Night. They're like, thanks for telling me. Now I know not to come.
I shall avoid you.
So,
I'm running.
because, but I think the fact that it's still on the list and even went up from 58 to 42, I think that shows that it's still a pretty popular game. And you're just wrong.
It seemed to me that this game was not. See, the games, it seems that the games that hang around that are card games on lists like these are the really light fillers or the really heavy stuff. I'm talking For Sale or Race for the Galaxy. This seems to be somewhere in between, so it surprises me that it's got the legs to stick around, you know? But yeah, people love it. I don't understand why it's so random.
It's wonderful. It's controlled chaos.
It's chaos that you think you're controlling.
All right. Well, a card game in a box. This one was on my list, I think, or might be on my list. Well, you know what? That's no one's business. We'll see if it's on my
This is
list
the
or
people's
not.
top. Who cares?
Number 41, Shadows over Camelot.
Okay, you're going to say something bad about this one?
Hey, I can be nice about this one.
Another cooperative. How many cooperatives have we talked about today? That's 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 cooperatives in this 10. That's
In 10.
40%
Wow.
out of this 10 is cooperatives. Now, this was the first cooperative game to introduce the fact that it might not be as cooperative as you think it is.
Trader mechanic, yes. Yes.
And that when I first played it, that trader mechanic was so awesome. And it still is. I mean, probably Battlestar Galactica has done it to a more tension-raising degree.
I guess so, but it's the theme. I think people get into the theme of, oh, you're Cylon. But this is cool because there might be a traitor.
Well, I try to play with there's like a 70, like a 90. When I play this game, I always play that there's one more card than the number of players.
So it's very likely.
So there's very likely a traitor, but you're not 100% sure. And in fact, some great games there is no traitor, but you're pretty sure that guy is a traitor because he's acting like a moron.
Yes.
In fact, for the longest time when I used to do the podcast, I had a list of people who were not allowed to play Shadows over Camelot.
Really?
Because they acted like a traitor the whole game. They'd be like, I'm not giving up a life point. I'm not doing that. I'm like, oh, well, then you're the traitor. No, they were just selfish.
Gotcha.
And you need to cooperate to win this game.
Yeah, this is a stunning looking game, which always helps.
Days of Wonder.
Yeah, which they always knock it out of the park. A great streamlined co-op. The theme comes through nicely, I think. It's not the most thematic co-op ever, but it comes through nicely. And you can have players drop in and out at any time, which is another thing that just never happens. I've never seen any other game really do that.
Shadows over Camelot, the card game.
Well, okay. And so I can totally see this sticking around on the list. This is a great choice.
All right. So that's the last one for today. We have 10 more games coming next week. Are they all cooperatives too? I don't think.
7 of them are.
Actually, I think none of them are cooperative. Does that make
Really?
you feel better?
Well, so we
All
just
right.
lumped them. Okay.
Well, if you like this top 10 list, top 100 list, you can also see mine and Melody's. You can see them all at dicetower.com. We post a list of these games if you want to see more about them. You're like, I don't know what you guys were talking about. There's likely a link to a review there where you can learn more about the game. Well, anyway, until next time, I'm Tom Vassell.
And I'm Z Garcia.
Games of all time.
Jerk.
Dice Tower People's Choice Top 100 Games of All Time.
Why are you here? Go home.